Welcome back. This is ICC Computer Application Class 10 100 Marks. I am Ganga Devi and in this video we will discuss the programs in array. In last video we have discussed how to declare an array and how to do all the output function, how to find the number of elements, how to find the length of an array, how to print the array, how to access the array elements. All things are detailed. So if you haven't seen that video, please see that video first and then only come to this video. And in this video, we are discussing the programs in array. We are starting with simple programs and then going to more logical and more difficult question. All type of questions are discussed here. Find odd number, find even number, how to delete an element, how to pass an array to a function, how to print the Armstrong numbers, palindrome numbers from the array. So all different types of programs are discussed here. Go through the program, see the video till the end, and in the end, if you like it, please don't forget to press the like button. And those who haven't subscribed till now, please subscribe the video. And now we can start the programs one by one. So the first question which we are going to discuss is write a program to input 5 numbers in an array and print the sum and average of all numbers. So we will be inputting and storing 5 numbers, 5 different numbers, and add them, all of them together and find the average of the numbers. Here, write the command. This is the first program, so we will be discussing each thing in detail. Write the command to input and print the 5 integer numbers in an array. And import java.util.scanner. We are doing by scanner class. Declare the class sum array public static void main scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in. So till here it is almost same. Only the class name will change. And after completing the scanner class object declaration, the first thing is to do is declare the array in which we have to accept the elements. So 5 elements we have to accept an integer array. So we are declaring int a square. Square means it is an array. Int a square is equal to new int 5. That means in the array a 5 elements can be stored. So array is declared here, and now declare the variables. Sum for finding the sum and average, double average is equal to 0.0. And after declaring the variables and array, now we can accept the number one by one. So system.println input 5 number, input the message. And array index will start from 0. We will accept the elements in array from 0 position. And that is why we are starting. And for accepting the elements in an array one by one, we have to use the for loop. For loop will go for int I is equal to 0. 0 is the first index. I less than 5. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 elements. I less than 5, I plus plus. And then a of I. Here we can see, in this case, I will go from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means A of I means the number. A0, first time array position will be A0. Then in A1, A2, A3, A4. Here we can see total 5 numbers. And A of I is equal to SC dot next IND. So whatever number you are inputting will be stored in A of I. The first number will be stored in A0 position, second number A1, third number A2, fourth number A3, and fifth number in A4 position. So here we are storing the number. And then this number is stored. Here we are using 2 loops. If you want, you can find the sum in the same loop itself. But as this is our first program in array, we are using a second loop. That means after accepting of the I loop. So 5 elements are accepted and stored in A. And now we are finding the sum of the elements. So once again here we are starting I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Once again I am saying if you want we can find the sum in the same array itself. And otherwise we can declare second time the loop and then start accepting finding the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus A of I. Here the elements are 10, 5, 2, 23. And now sum was 0 in the beginning. 0 plus A0, that means 0 plus 10, it is 10. And now value of sum is 10. And the next one, A1 is 5. That means 10 plus 5, 15. A2 is 2. 15 plus 2, 17. 17 plus 20, 37. And 37 plus 3, 40. So like this, we can find the sum of the elements. And then after finding, close the loop. We have found the sum. So now we can close the loop. And after closing, find the average. Average is equal to sum divided by 5. 5 numbers are there. So sum divided by 5. And then we can find the print the sum. Sum is equal to plus sum and average is equal to plus ABG. And now we can see how to write the list of variables when we are having an array. Variable name A square. Here we have to show it is an array. So A square. It is int type int A for accepting the elements. And I loop int for it is a loop variable. And variable S is for accepting. Here whatever variable you are declaring. Variable sum, that is also int for accepting the sum of numbers. And AV, that is double AV for finding the average of the numbers. So like this we can find write the list of variables in the array. I hope you have understood how to declare the array and how to access the elements in an array. The next question, write a program to input 10 numbers and print all numbers which are in odd position. Here, read the question carefully. We are not showing the odd numbers. We are showing the numbers present in odd position. So, the number can be even number or odd number. Position means I. That means in one position number 1, position number 3, position number 5, like that. So, input 10 numbers and print only those elements which are present in the odd position. So here we can see the program. Write the command and list of this one. Import java.util.scanner class odd. We are starting public static void main and scanner SC is equal to new scanner system.in. So write the first 4 lines and now declare the array which can accept 10 number. int A square is equal to new int 10. And give the message input 10 number and accept the array elements one by one. For int I is equal to 0 starting from 0 position. I less than 10, that means 0 to 9. I plus plus. A of I is equal to sc dot next int. Here we can see 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9 position is here. And we can see the elements in A0, A1, A2, A3 up to A9. So whatever elements you are inputting, the first element will be stored in A0, A1, A2. And now we have accepted the elements. And now we have to find the elements in odd position. So odd position means 1, 3, 5, 7. So we have to check I, not A of I. A of I means number and I means position. So I is equal to 1, I less than 10, I plus is equal to 2. That means 1, starting number is 1, plus 2 means 3, plus 2 means 5. That means A1, A3, A5, A7 and A9. And print the element of A of I. I is 1, print A of I. Here we can see I is 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I will go and A1, A3, A5, 7 and 9. Only the numbers in odd position. It can be odd number or even number. Here we are checking only the value of I, that is the index position. Otherwise we can say the subscript position. So like this we can print the number. Now the next question is write a program to input 10 numbers and print the numbers which are odd. So here we are going to print the odd numbers, not the numbers in odd position. So we can see the difference. So we can start the program, write the first 4 lines till scanner class. And now the next step is declare the array which can store 10 integer number. int A square is equal to new int 10. Here we have declared the array and in this we can store 10 integer number. And now print the message input 10 numbers and accept the numbers one by one. I is equal to 0, I less than 10. Here we can see I will go from 0 to 9. that means 0, 1, 2, 3. And A of I, that means A0, A1, A2, A3 up to A9. So A of I is equal to next SC dot next IND. So the integer numbers which we are inputting will be stored. First number will be stored in A0, second number in A1, third number in A2, and the last number, that is 10th number, in A9. So elements are stored like this. So we got the 10 numbers from the array. And now the next part of the program is find the odd number. So once again start the loop 0 to 10. And now if A of I modulus 2, here if we are saying I modulus 2, the index number or position will be taken. If we are saying I modulus 2, that means position of even or odd will be taken. But when we are saying A of I, here in this case the numbers will be taken. So once again, I means index or position or subscript, and A of I means the particular number. And if A of I modulus 2 is not equal to 0, if it is not an even number, print the number. So like this we can find. And if you want to find the even number, we will say if A of I modulus 2 double equals 0. If the remainder is 0, when you divide by 2, it is even number. If it is not 0, it is an odd number. So like this we can print the odd numbers. Now we can see the next question. Write a program to input 50 numbers. Store the even numbers and odd numbers in two separate arrays and print them. So in this, we have to input 50 numbers and find out the even numbers and store them in one array, and odd numbers store them in another array. So we can start the program. Write the first 4 lines as usual. Till scanner class it is same. And declare the integer array to store 50 numbers. IND A square is equal to new IND 50. So this array A can store 50 integer number. And now give the proper message and accept the numbers. Here we are starting the for loop. For IND I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. And A of I is equal to SC dot next IND. That means starting from array 0 position, it's 0 to 49, the I loop will run, and A0, A1, A2, A3 up to A49 different integer numbers will be stored in the array. So the first part is over, and now we have to find and separate the even numbers and odd numbers in two different arrays. And now here we can see many numbers are there. We don't know how many even numbers are there, how many odd numbers are there. Maybe all the numbers are even, or maybe all the numbers are odd. So we don't have the counting. So we have to declare the array for even numbers as 50 as well as the odd numbers as 50. So that even if the full numbers, all the numbers are even or odd, it can be stored. So here we are declaring the array IND odd is equal to new IND 50 and IND even is equal to new IND 50. We have declared both the arrays which can store 50 numbers. And now C and D. Here we are taking two variables. C is equal to 0. C for finding how many even numbers are there. The even position will start from 0, and as the numbers are coming, C will increase. And D for the counting and storing even number. How many numbers are there in D we can find out. And now here we are starting to separate the numbers. IND I is equal to 0, I less than 50. That means one by one all the numbers I plus plus are taken. And if A of I modulus 2 is equal to 0, even of C is equal to A of I and C plus plus. We can discuss this slide. Here, if A of I modulus 0, for example, the first number is 98. And A of I, that means A0 modulus 2. 98 divided by 2, it is a, we can say it is an even number. So we are saying even of C. C, as you can see, C was 0 in the beginning. So even of C, that means even of 0. In place of C, 0 will come. Even 0 is equal to 98. The first number we have stored in position even 0. And as soon as you store the number, we are increasing the value of C. C is equal to C plus 1. That means C will become 1. because the next number cannot be stored in the 0 position. The next number has to be stored in the position 1, in position number 1, and the coming number position number 2, position number 3, like that. So whenever you get an even number, after storing the number in the particular position, the value of C will increase. C is equal to C plus 1. So here A5 modulus to this we can discuss. A0, it is even. So in even 0, we have stored the number and C has become 1. And A1 is not even number, but A2 is an even number. So that in even of C. Here A2 is even number. So A2 is stored in even 1. First position 98 was stored. We have done C plus 1. That means C has become 1. So even of C means even of 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, like this it will go. Even of 166 is stored. And the next even number, maybe it is 20. It will be stored in even of 2, like that. So C will be increasing 1, 2, 3, and the position of even will change according to that. And now for the odd number, if it is not even number, odd of D is equal to A of I. A0 was even number, so it will not be stored. And now coming to A1. A1 is odd number. So it will be stored in odd of D. D was 0 in the beginning. So odd of D, odd 0 is equal to 55. That means the first position. The next position will be odd 1, then odd 2, odd 3, odd 4, like that. So we are increasing the value of D according to the number. D will become 0, 1, 2, 3. As soon as your number is stored, it will become 1, 2, 3. And odd of D is equal to 2. And as after storing the numbers, we can print even number is IND I is equal to 0, I less than C. That means the total number of even number I plus plus, and system out println even of I. Same with odd number. Odd numbers are I is equal to 0, I less than D, I plus plus, and system out println odd of I. Here we can print the number. So in even of I and odd of I, the numbers will come and we can print them. Next question is, write a program to input 10 numbers and print the greatest and smallest number. So we have to input 10 numbers in an array, store it, and from the 10 numbers which are stored in the array, we have to find which one is the greatest number and which one is the smallest number. We can start writing the program to input and print greatest and smallest number. Write the command first. It is advisable to write more than one comment in a program, as board is giving 3 marks for each question for the comments and list of variables. So in this particular program, I have added 2 more comments. You can see it. Anyway, finish the first 4 lines up to scanner s is equal to new scanner system.in. And now first step, declare the array int a square is equal to new int 10 and input the 10 numbers. Here second comment I have added here before starting the loop by single line comment, loop for accepting the array elements. And here we are starting the loop int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. That means loop will go from 0 to 9 and 10 elements are stored 0 to A9. So in this example we have taken 15, 20, 12, 30, 10, 50 and 1. Now we have to find which number is the greatest number and which number is the smallest. We can just see and tell 50 is the greatest number and 1 is the smallest number. But in Java program, we have to write the logical step. So the first number we are storing in a variable. We have taken INDM for storing the biggest number and INDS for storing the smallest number. And the first number we are storing, that means A0 is the first number. INDM is equal to A0 and INDS is equal to A0. That means the first number is 15 and 15 we are storing in the variable M and S. Now we will compare this number with other numbers to find which number is the greatest number and which number is the smallest number. So here once again we are starting the loop. Here I have written loop for checking. Now IND I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. 0 to 9 loop will go. And now here we are checking if m is less than a of I. A of I will start from 0 to 9. First time, okay, we are starting from 0. If you want, we can start from 1 also, because first number we have already taken. So first time 15 and 15, it is not greater. And now one by one all numbers will be checked. And if the value of m, that means 15, is smaller than the number, then this number will go to m and the particular number will be overwritten. So here we can see now after the first number, take the second number 20, and when we are checking m is smaller than 20, that means a of I is the biggest number, a1 is the biggest number and m is the smallest number. So if this condition is coming, m is equal to a of I, that means this number will come to will be stored in the variable n. That means 20 will be stored in m. And now first we can check the greatest number. All numbers will be checked in this way. Next time 20 and 12 is checked. No, no reaction is there because this one will be smallest, so no change. Then 20 and 30 are checked. When 20 and 30 are checked, m is small and a of I is great number. That means exchange will take place. M is equal to A of I. That means in the variable M, 20 will go and 30 will be coming. And further checking will be done. 30 and 10, no change. And 30 and 50, the 50 is greatest number. That means 50 will be stored in M. And 1 is smallest number, so no reaction. Like this, we got the biggest number in the variable M. And now coming to smallest number, here we are having the checking. If S is greater than A of I, S is 15, so one by one we will be checking. S is greater than A of I, S is equal to A of I. So 15 no need to check, and now 15 and 20. S is not greater than A of I, so no change. 15 and 12. In this case, A of I, that means A2 is 12 and S is 15. So S is greater than A of I. Then S is equal to A of I. So 15 will go and 12 will be stored in the variable S. And then further checking 12 and 30, no change. 12 and 10. 10 is the smallest number. Again, swapping will take place. That means in S, the value 10 will be stored. 12 will be overwritten and 10 will be stored. And 10 and 50, no change. And 10 and 1. 1 is the smallest number. So 1 will be stored in S. So like this, we got the smallest number. So when the checking is over, we will get M as 50 and S as 1. And after closing the loop, we can print greatest number in the array is plus m. That means 50 will be printed in this case and smallest number is plus s. I hope you have understood the logic, how we are comparing and finding the greatest number and smallest number in an array. Coming to the next question, given two arrays, int A, that means array A contains 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, and in array B we are having the elements 0, 5, minus 5, minus 3, minus 10, minus 22. So we are having two arrays with 5 elements each and combine both the arrays in the following format. That means in array C, in the third array, we are having 2, 5, 8, 10, 12 and 0, minus 5, minus 3, minus 10, minus 22. That means the first 5 elements in array C is filled with array A, elements from array A, and the last 5 elements from array B. So we can see how to do this program. Start the program. No need of scanner class because we are not inputting any number. The numbers or elements which has to be stored in the array is given. So we can assign the elements. int A square is equal to 2, 5, 8, 10, 12. These elements will be stored in array A. Here we can see in A0, A1, A2, A3 and A4 position the elements will be stored. And array B will be stored in the, that means elements are 0, minus 5, minus 3, minus 10 and minus 22. Starting from B0 to B4. And now see how the combination should be there. Here, we have to declare a third array because we have to store 5 elements are in array A and 5 elements are in array B. So we have to combine them and store in the third array. So 5 plus 5, 10. That means we have to declare the third array which we can store 10 number. So here we are declaring INDC is equal to new IND. And now see the first 5 position of array C, that means C0, C1, C2, C3 and C4 are filled with elements from array A. We can compare the elements, and the last 5 positions starting from C5 to C9, the elements are filled with array elements from B. So we can make the loop according to that. IND I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, because starting from 0 to C4 less than 5, that means till 4. We are filling the array C with elements of array B. So here straightly we can say C of I is equal to A of I. So here C0 is equal to A0, C1 is equal to A1, like that. And now for the rest of the elements starting from 5th position to 9th position. So the next loop will start from position number 5, I less than 10. So that means 5 to 9, I plus plus. So this loop we are taking for the position of array C, C5 to C9. I is 5, I less than, that means 9. And now for the position of array B, that means position of array B is 0, 1, 2, 3. For the position of array B, we are taking a second variable, that is x. X is equal to 0. Now we can see how the elements are printed. C of I is equal to B of x. C of I means C5. Here we can see C of I. I is starting from 5. So C of I means 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So C5, C6, C7, C8, C9. Like this it will go. C of I is equal to B of x. Now we can see how the x is going. Here we can see x plus plus. First time x will be 0. As soon as you store the element x plus plus, x will become 1. Then 2, 3, 4. So when we are saying B of x means first time B0, then B1, B2, B3 and B4. So C of I is equal to B of x. We can see C5 is equal to B0. That means 0 is printed here. C6 is equal to B1 minus 5. C7 is equal to B2 minus 3. C8 is equal to B3 and C9 is equal to B4. So like this the elements are printed. So in this way, with the help of a third variable, we can find the position of B and then store the elements in array C. After that, we can print the combined array. Combined array is IND I is equal to 0, I less than 10, 10 elements are there, I plus plus, and system out println C of I. The elements will be printed in the given format. Now this question, we are combining the array in a different format. Given two arrays, IND A square is equal to 2, 5, 8, 10, 12 and IND B, that means array B is equal to 0, minus 5, minus 3, minus 10, minus 22. We have taken the same value and combine both the arrays in the following format. Here see the difference. See IND, that means third array, 2, that means first element of array A, and 0, 0 is the first element of array B, 5 is the second element of array A, and minus 5 is the second element of array B. That means we are mixing both the arrays and here storing in the array C. So 2, 0, 5, minus 5, minus here minus 5, 8, minus 3. First time array A will come, then array B, then again array A, array B, again array A, and array B elements are stored. So now we can see how to do this program. So beginning of the program is same as we have already done. Declaring the class public static void main and storing the array elements. Here we can see array A is stored and array B is stored, and we are combining both the arrays in the third array according to the question. That means here we can see two here, first element of array A, then first element of array B, again second element of array A and second element of array B, third element of array A and third element of the array B. So like this we are storing in the third array. And now analyze the question how the elements are stored. Here we can see the starting from position C0 to C9 elements are stored. We are combining A and B and storing. And now find where are the elements of array A stored. That means 2, 5, 8, 10, 12. Here we can see 2 is stored in C0 and 5 is stored in C2. 8 is stored in C4. 10 is stored in C6 and 12 is stored in C8. That means array A is stored in even position of array C, and here we can see array B 0 minus 5, 0 minus 5 minus 3. They are stored in odd position of array C. So this way we can make the program. The even position of array C is storing elements from array A, and odd position of array C is storing elements from array B. So here we can see declare the array, and for position of array A, we are declaring the variable P. That means P is 0 in the beginning. That means A 0. Here we can see P will increase. P plus plus P will increase. That means P will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the array C, we are making the loop int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus is equal to 2. That means first time I will be 0, plus 2 means 2 is the next position. 2 plus 2, 4 is the third position. 4 plus 2, 6, and 6 plus 2, 8. That means C of I, that means C0, C2, C4, C6, C8. Even position of array C will be filled with the elements from array A. Here C0 is A0, C2, I plus 2 means C2 is equal to A1, C4 is equal to A2, C6 is equal to A3, and C8 is equal to A4. So in this way we can store, and same with array B also. Here in place of P, here we are taking X for the position of array B, and loop, it is odd position, so int I is equal to 1. The first odd position 1. 1 to 10 plus 2, that means C1, C3, C5, C7, C9. The odd position of array C is filled with array B. X is equal to X plus 1 every time. That means B0, B1, B2, B3, 4. And odd position of array C is filled with elements from array B, and even position of elements are filled with array A. So in this way we can combine and then do the printing. I hope you understood the logic. Next question is, write a program to accept numbers in an array and print in reverse form, that is from last to first. The first element will come last and the last element will come first. So now we can start the program. Write the first 4 lines. Till scanner class it is same, only change the class name and write the proper comment. And now first of all declare the array int a square is equal to new int 10. Here we are declaring the array and accept the numbers. That means int I is equal to 0, I less than 10. Here we are having in 10 numbers, that means 10 I plus plus. And a of I is equal to sa dot next int. Here we are accepting the 10 elements. So we got the array in this form. Suppose the numbers are these 20 to 30 up to 35. Suppose the numbers are in this order. Now we have to print the array from 35, 12, 100, 10, 98, 8, 55, 52, 30, 52. So what we can do, we can start the reverse loop. The loop will go from 9 to 0. Now the loop is going from 0 to 9 in proper order. So if you want the array in reverse order, we can start the loop from the end to beginning. Here we can see it. First of all, you print the original array because it is needed in the ICC board. Original array and the reverse array should be shown. So first of all, print the original array int I 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, and system out println a of I. The array is printed. Now start the reverse loop. Here I is equal to 9. We can see I is equal to 9 starting from 9th position till 0 position. I greater than or equal to 0. 0 is included. I minus minus. That means 9, 8, 7, 6 up 0. System out println A of I. A9, A8. So in this order we will be printing. So numbers will be coming in the reverse order. So if we want the original array, we will print it from 0 to 10. That means starting from the first index to last index. And here reverse order means last index to the first index. Next question, write a program to accept 10 different decimal numbers in a single dimension array. We can say it is array A and truncate the fractional part of each number of the array and store in the integer part in array B. So in this case, as we can see, we have to declare two arrays. One which can store decimal numbers and second array which we can store integer number. That means integer part from the decimal array. So here we are starting the program, write the comments and the first 4 lines till scanner class and then declare the double array. Double A is equal to new double 10. Here we are declaring the array A which can store 10 decimal numbers. Give the message, input the number and start accepting the elements. I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus and A of I starting from A0 to A9 is equal to SC dot next double. Next double is the command for accepting decimal numbers, D capital. And now how to take the integer part? Here declare the integer array. IND B is equal to new IND 10. We are declaring the array B which can store integer numbers and start the loop and B of I is equal to IND of A of I. Either we can do in the explicit form in this format. B of I is equal to IND explicit of A of I. That means integer part of the element will be stored in array B. Otherwise straight also we can say in implicit way B of I is equal to A of I. As array B if declared as integer IND, the integer part will be taken. So after storing the elements we can print it. Write the heading first, decimal number and integer part and then start the loop and print A of I decimal number. Array A will come and below the integer part array B will come. So like this we can complete the program. Next question is write a program to accept 10 different numbers, separate the negative and positive numbers and store them in 2 different arrays and print them. So in this program we will be accepting 10 number and we will create 2 more arrays and store the positive numbers in an array and negative number in second array, otherwise in a different array. So we can start the program, write the first 4 lines, declare the class, public static and scanner class. And in this program, we have to accept 10 numbers in an array and separate the elements. That means positive numbers will go to one array and negative numbers will go to another array. We don't know how many positive numbers are there. We don't know how many negative numbers are there. Maybe all the numbers we are inputting are positive and maybe all the numbers we are inputting are negative. So we have to declare the arrays, that means positive array and negative array with 10 elements, so that even if all the elements are positive or negative, they can be stored. So here we can declare the array. Here 3 arrays are declared. INDA, array A which can store 10 number, array B also can store 10 number and array C also can store 10 number. In this case, we will input the elements in array A and positive numbers will be going to array B and negative numbers to array C. So after declaring the array, now input the numbers. System out println input the numbers and start the loop. I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, A of I is equal to SC dot next IN. So now the next step is find the number of positive numbers and store them in array B and find the negative numbers and store them in array C. So here we have taken 2 variables n and p. N for finding or counting the number of negative number and p for finding or counting the number of positive number. So starting both of them it is 0 because till now we don't got any positive number or any negative number. Now one by one we can check the array and find the positive and negative number. So I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Start the array from array 0 position, and if A of I means the particular number. First time the I is 0, that means A0, we will check the number. Then I is 1, then A1, the number will be checked. I is 2, A2, the number will be checked. So one by one we are checking the number. And if A of I is greater than 0, that means if it is a positive number, B of P, here we can see P is 0 in the beginning. So B of P means first time P is 0, B of P means B0. B0 is equal to A of I. That means check the number one by one. If the number is a positive number, store them in array B according to the position. First position is 0 in array. Index number starts with 0. So the first number in B0, and as soon as you store the first number, here we are increasing the value of P. That means the next number will be stored in B1. And when you find the second number, P will increase to 2. Third number will be stored in B2, then B3, like that. So P is for counting the number of positive number. So here we can check the example A of I. A0 is greater than 0. That means in B0 the number will be stored. And now next number, and P has become 1. Next number is 12. 12 is also greater than 0. A of I. That means 12 is greater than 0. Then B of P. P has become 1 now. That means in B1 that number 12 will be stored. And now we are checking the third number. It is negative number. The condition is false, so it will not be stored in array B. And fourth number is 17. 17 is greater than 0. That means it is a positive number. And now the value of P is 2. So in B2, 17 will be stored. And P will be increased to 3. So like this, the value of P will increase. That means position of B will increase. And all positive numbers will be stored one by one in the array B. And now we can check the negative number. Negative n is starting from 0. Here we are checking if A is greater than 0, B of P is equal to A of I. And if it is otherwise, else means otherwise, if it is a negative number, C of n. C of n means first time n is 0. C0, then C1, C2. Like this it will go. C of n is equal to A of I and n plus plus. So as soon as you store a number in C, the value of n will increase. And here we can check. First number A0 is not negative. A1 is also not negative. And A2 is not greater than 0. That means it is a negative number. So C of n, that means C0, it will be stored -5. And then n will become 1. And now the next number, here it is coming -95. It is a negative number, so it will be stored in C1. And the next negative number in C2, C3, like that. So here, as soon as you store the number, the value of n will increase. So here we have arranged the negative and positive number in both the arrays. After this, we can print it. System out print a positive number, I less than P. Here we can see I is equal to 0, I less than P. P is the last value. That means if the position is still 3, as soon as you store the number, P will increase. So till 4 it will go. But array is still 3. So I less than P, I plus plus, and system out println B of I. And then negative number I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. If it is, that means last number is n. So I less than n, I plus plus, and print out C of I. So in this way we can store the negative numbers and positive number. Write a program to input 10 number in one array. Accept the negative numbers and positive numbers and print negative numbers first and then the positive numbers. So in this we are accepting both negative and positive number. Here we can see this is an example. We are accepting both negative and positive number. And when we print, the negative numbers will come in the beginning and positive numbers in the end. Start the program, write the first 4 lines and then declare the array. Here we are declaring the array int a square is equal to new int 10. This array can store 10 number, input the number. And input and the negative and positive number we are supposed to input in this array. So int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. A of I is equal to sc dot next int. And before separating or before writing in the following format, we can print the original array, how it is arranged. So system.println original numbers int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, and system.println A of I. The original array will be printed. And now we have to print the negative numbers first and positive numbers last. So write the heading negative numbers and then positive number, and then start the element here array. First, we will start from the index number 0 to 10. I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, and print only those elements which are negative. So here we are seeing if A of I is less than 0, that means if it is a negative number, print it with space. Don't print the positive number. So first we are finishing printing all negative numbers. Here we have finished, and now start the positive number. So after printing the last negative number, then we will start the positive number int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. And if A of I is greater than 0, that means if it is a positive number, print it. So like this we can print the negative numbers first and positive number last. Now we can start a new question. Write a program to input a number for a particular month and display the month name and number of days. For example, if you are inputting 1, output should be January and 31. 31 days are in January. If you are inputting 3, March and 31. And if you are inputting 11, November and 30. So we can start the program, complete the first 4 lines, and then first of all, we have to declare an array to store the name of the months and the number of days in each month. So first we can declare that we can assign, because we know the names of the month and we know the number of days. So here string month, here it is a, we can, then month is a string. Here that means it is a word. So here we are declaring the array as string. String month is equal to, we are, or normally arrays will start from 0 position. In this case, if we are inputting 1, January should come. So first space we are just putting a space. In the first index we are just putting the space. So in the month 0, space will be there. And month 1 is January, month 2 is February, month 3 is March. So like this we are inputting. And we are storing the 12 months in this array from January to December. And day, in the first index we are storing 0, and from the second index, that means day 1, we are starting the number of days of each month. Here we can see 31 days are in January, 28 February, and 31 March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. So like this we are storing the number of days in the array. Now we can ask input the number which has to be checked and accept in the variable n. N is equal to sc dot next int, and first checking if n is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 12. That means if it is a valid month, 12 months are there, so it should be from 1 to 12. If it is not, here we will be printing invalid month number. If it is a valid month, print month of n. For example, 1 means month of 0 is space here, and month of 1 is January, and day 1 is 31. If it is 2, February and 28. If it is 3, month of 3 is March and 31. So like this, according to the number, the month and the particular number of days will be printed. Next question, write a program to input month, day of the month in DD format, and year in 4 digits y, and calculate and print the corresponding day of the year starting from 1 to 366. That means start the counting from 1 and tell starting from 1, which is the day, given particular day. So example is given here, month is 05, it is May, day 3 and year 1996. If this is the example, if we start from counting 1, that means January 1 as 1, January 2 as the second day, January 3 as the third day. When we reach May, it will be 124. That means count the number of days from each month. 31 from January, 29 or 28 according to the leap year from February, March, April and then third day of May. So start counting like this and then we will get the particular day of the year. So here we can start the program. Write the first 4 lines, declare the class, public static and scanner class, and now store the number of days in the month in an array. So here we are storing the number of days. Starting position it is 0 and from position 1, January 31 days, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. The number of days we have stored according to the month in proper order. And now accept the day here. So declare the variables, accept the day which you have to find, month and then year. So now we can find out till the given date how many days have been passed. So here we can see same example we can take. If the month is 05, day is 3. That means in May 3 days we have to count. That means complete days till April. Till April we have to count the complete days. So here we are starting the loop int I is equal to 0, I less than month. This example we can take. So I less than month means till 4 it will go. Month is 5, that means till 4. That means 0 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. That means January, February, March and April. It is taken. It is added. S is equal to S plus A of I means 0 plus 31 plus 28 plus 31 plus 30 till the days of April. We have added. And then suppose if the year is a leap year, then we have to add plus 1. That means for month of February. So if y modulus 4 is equal to 0, if it is a leap year, S is equal to S plus 1. The counting plus 1. Leap year 29 days are there. And now till April we have found, and now it is given 3 days. 3 days in the variable day. So S is equal to S plus day. So that total plus 3 will be taken, number of days given, and then we can print number of days is plus S. The next question is input 10 numbers in an array. Input a number and if the particular number is present in the array, delete the number. Here we are having 2 examples. In the first example, 10 numbers are there and the number to be deleted is given. For example, here 89 is given and we can see 89 is present in the array. So delete the number and when we print, the array element should be having all other elements except 89. Here we can see the result. And in the second example, 10 elements are accepted in the array and the element to be deleted is 100, but 100 is not present in the array. So we are printing the particular number is not present in the array. We can first accept the elements and then discuss the logic of the program. So start the program, import java.util.scanner, class, public static and scanner SE. So till that you complete. After that, declare an array. Here we are declaring an array and accepting the array elements. int a is equal to new int 10. So here we are declaring the array and then give the message and accept the 10 numbers in the array. So here we can see the numbers are accepted and arranged in the following format. And now accept the number to be deleted and store in a particular variable. First we can discuss the logic and then start the program. Here the elements are arranged in the proper order from A0 to A9. And then accept the element to be deleted. For example, here we are accepting 98. And we can see 98 is present in the array. That means that number has to be deleted. Here 98 has to be deleted. So what is the logic we can use? First thing, one by one check whether the number is present. So here I loop will be running. We will be checking if A of I is equal to X. X is 98 in this example. So A0, first time I is 0, that means A0 is equal to 98. 56 and 98 is not same. Next time I will be 1. A1 and the particular number will be checked. A2, A3, A4 and A5. When we reach A5, the number in the example, that means 98 we have taken as example, both the numbers are same. So this element will be deleted and the other elements will be present. And while printing, we will print all elements except that number. So what logic here we can use? Here we can shift the next number to the particular cell. For here we can see the 98 was here in the beginning, so 850 will be stored in A5. That means shifting one cell early. And 100 will be stored in A6, 12 will be stored in A7 and 35 will be stored in A8. So one cell we are shifting to the previous. So in this way the 98 number will be overwritten by the next number. So 850 will come here, that means 98 will be overwritten. And when 100 will come, 850 will go from here and 100 will be here. Then 100 will go and 12 will be here and then 35 will be here. So like this we can print it. And now while printing, we have to find how many times the number is appearing. Suppose 98 is coming one time. That means while printing, one number is less in the array. A dot length minus 1. If the number is coming two times, that means A dot length minus 2. Two number cells will be less, two numbers will be less, so two cells will be empty. And if number is coming three times, three cells will be empty. So we have to write the loop A dot length minus how many times the number is coming. So here we have taken two variables, int f is equal to 0 and c is equal to 0. If the number is present, for example, we are inputting 98 to delete. If number is present, f will become 1. And suppose if the number is not in the array, f will remain 0 and this will help for printing in the end. And C is for counting how many times the particular number is coming. If the number is coming one time, that means one cell less we have to print. If the number is coming two times, two cell less we have to print. And if it is coming three times, three less. So C is for counting how many times the number is coming. And then here we are starting the loop int I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length I plus plus. One by one we are checking. And if a of I is equal to x, a0, a1, a2, a3, if the number is coming, if a of I is equal to x, then we will start a second loop to shift the number one cell early. So here we are starting the second loop j. int j is equal to I. Here we can see I is, if the number is 98, the number is present in A5 position. So till A4 there is no need of any change. So J loop will start from I, whatever the position the number is there. So in this case, I is 5. So J loop is starting from 5. And J does less than A dot length minus 1. Here we got one number. That means while printing, one number will be less. So here A dot length minus 1 and J plus plus. So here we are starting the loop from I position and A of J is equal to A of J plus 1. So I was 5 when we started J. So A of J is A5 and J plus 1 means A6. So A of J is equal to A of J plus 1. 850 will come here, 100 will come in A6, 12 will come in A7 and 35 will come in A8. So like this the swapping will take place. So for the J loop we can close here, and in the I loop we can change F to 1 because we got the number. We got the number means F will become 1, and C one time we got, that means C will become 1. If we are getting 2 times, C will become 2. If we are getting 3 times, C will become 3. So like this we can remove the particular number. The number will be overwritten by the next number according to the loop. And then we can print if F is equal to 1. If the number is present, we can print the complete array. Elements after deleting is int I is 0, I less than a dot length minus c. How many times the number is coming? If it is coming one time, a dot length minus 1. If it is coming two times, a dot length minus 2. 3 times a dot length minus 3. So I less than a dot length minus c, I plus plus, and system out println a of I, print the number. Else means if the f is remaining 0, that means the particular element is not present in the array. So this way we can delete a particular element from the array and print the rest of the elements. I hope you understood the logic and the program. The next question we are going to discuss is, write a program to input 25 numbers and print all Armstrong numbers from that. A number is said to be Armstrong if the sum of cube of its digit is same as the original number. So we have to input 25 number, and one by one we will be checking all the numbers and print only those numbers which are Armstrong. So now we can start. First, accept the numbers. Here, write the class name, class Armstrong. Public static void main scan press C, complete the 4 lines, and declare the array which can store 25 integer numbers. So here we are storing int a is equal to new int 25, and now accept the number. Int I is equal to 0, I less than 25, I plus plus, and a of I is equal to sc dot next int. So we have accepted the elements in the array, and now we have to check one by one. So here some variables we have declared int n for storing each number and then checking it. Because a of I we have to compare, so the element one by one we will copy to n, and then we will check, and r for the remainder and s for the sum. So here in the table we can see, for example, the first number is 153, second number is 342. So like this 25 numbers are there. So first number we will store in the variable n. So we are storing it here, and now we have to separate the digits and then find the cube of each digit. That means we have to separate the digits of 153 are 3, 5 and 1. We have to separate the digit, find the cube of each digit, and then total and check if the original number and the number is same. So how we can separate? Divide the number by 10. The remainder will be the digit, and then take the quotient. It will go till n is greater than 0. So here 153 divided by 10. It is 3. 3 is the remainder. The first digit is separated. Quotient will be 15. Here we can see n the I is equal to 0, 25. That means the loop will be going here, and n is equal to a of I. We are storing the number in n and s for 0. So starting every number, sum will be 0. Sum will be 0 for 153 in the beginning, and then 342 also once again sum will be 0. If sum is not 0 for every number, the previous number total will be added in the second number. That means the logic will be wrong. So here s is equal to 0, and while n is greater than 0, we are separating the digit. R is equal to n modulus 10 and n is equal to n by 10. So here 153 divided by 10, remainder is 3, quotient is 15, which will go to n. Then 15 divided by 10, remainder is 5, goes to r, and quotient will come to n. And last time this number will come here. So we got the 3 digits. If 3 digits are there, we have separated the digits, and now s is equal to s plus r into r into r. So first digit was 3, 3 cube is 27, 5 cube is 125, and 1 cube is 1. And now we are adding to s. 0 plus 27, the first cube, 27, 27 plus 125, it is 152, and 152 plus 1, it is 153. So in s, we got the sum of the cube of the digits. And now check if a of I is equal to s. A of I we haven't changed anything, so it is same. The changes has come in the variable n, not in the a of I. And here we are checking if a of I is equal to s. If the numbers are same, then print the number. Otherwise, no need of printing the number. And now for the second number, 342. Now s is 153. So while taking the second number, when I is equal to 1, n is equal to a of I, and n will become 342, and s once again will become 0. And then digits will be separated. 2, 4, 3, find the cube, and checking will be done. So for every variable, starting value of s is 0. The previous sum will not be taken. That is why here we are having s is equal to 0. And only those numbers will be printed which are Armstrong. Next question, write a program to input 25 numbers and print all palindrome numbers from that. A number is said to be palindrome if the original number and the reverse number is same. That means if we read from the left side and right side, if the number is same. For example, 121. Both if it is same, if we read from the left side and right side. So we can check how many numbers are palindrome and then print only those numbers which are palindrome. So start the program. Here accept the variables, declare the class name till scanner class it is same. Just change the class name and then declare the array which can store 25 number. int a is equal to new int 25 and accept the number. Here we are accepting I is equal to 0, I less than 25, I plus plus and a of 5. That means a0, a1, a2 up to a24. A of I is equal to sc dot next int. And variables are declared which we will be discussing. So in A of I we can see numbers are inputted till A24. And after that we can check whether the numbers are palindrome or not. Palindrome means take the number, reverse the number. For example, here we can see 354. When you reverse you will get 453. 212. When you reverse we will get 212. That means accept a number, reverse it. And if both the numbers are same, it is a palindrome number. So we can do see how to do it. Here int I is equal to 0, I less than 25. That means I will be going a0, a1, a2 up to a24. The numbers will be taken. And n is equal to a of I. Store the number. Original number will be there. For separating digits, we have to store in another variable. Otherwise, a of I will become 0. So n is equal to a of I. Store the number. And then here first number a0 354 we have stored, and now separate the digits. Same way, r is equal to n modulus 10 and n is equal to n by 10. So 354 divided by 10, remainder is 4, quotient is 35. Remainder will go to r. 35 divided by 10, 5. 5 will go to r and 3 will go to r. So here 354 the digits are separated. And now for reversing, d is equal to d into 10 plus r. Here we can see d is 0 in the beginning. So d into 10. So 0 into 10 first time. 0 into 10 and the first remainder is 4. 0 into 10 plus 4. So d into 10. 0 into 10 plus 4. 0 into 10 is 0. 0 plus 4, 4. Now the new value of d is 4. The next digit is 5. So again d into 10. 4 into 10. 40. 40 plus 5, 45. And now d is 45. Again d into 10. 45 into 10. 450. 450 plus the next remainder 3. Next digit 3. That means 453. So like this, if 5 digits are there, 5 times loop will run. If 3 digits are there, 3 times loop will run. So in d we will get the reverse number. And here we are saying d is equal to d into 10 plus r. And then check if a of I is equal to d. If the number is same, a of I is 354. If both the numbers are same, print the number. In the first case, it is not same, so number will not be printed. But when we come to A1, it is 212. When you reverse it, the same number will come. So that number will be printed. So only those numbers will be printed which are palindrome. Coming to next question, write a program to generate and store the first 30 terms of the Fibonacci numbers in an array and finally print the array. We already done the Fibonacci numbers in class 9. The first Fibonacci number is 0 and the second is 1. And third number will be generated by adding the last two numbers. So here we can see how it is done. Here the first Fibonacci number is 0 and the second one is 1. And the next numbers, we will add the last two numbers to form the next number. So here example we can see 0 plus 1. The last two numbers 0 plus 1, it is 1. And now the last two numbers are 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And now again take the last two number 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. And 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 8, 21. And 21 plus 13, 34. And like this. So we are counting the number of terms. First term, second term, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Like this we will count the number of terms, and we have to print the first 30 terms of the Fibonacci number. So we can see how to do the program. No need of input. Starting number is known. How many number of times it is also known. So here we can start the program and initialize the first number and the second number in a variable and then store in the array. So here int a is 0. That means first number we are storing in A, and B is 1. The second number we are storing in C. And for finding the third number, we are declaring a variable C. We will add A plus B and find the C. And now here we need the 30 terms. So we are declaring an array which can store 30 numbers. So int 5 is equal to new int 30. The square bracket is there. So here we are declaring the 5 array which can store 30 number. And before starting the loop, store the first number and the second number. The first number will be stored in the 0 position, 5 0, and the second number will be stored in the first position, 5 1. So the first two numbers are stored in the 0 and first position. And now 28 numbers are remaining. So here we can see the table and start the program. Here we are starting the array loop from 2 because 0 position is filled and position number 1 is also filled. 0 is filled with here 1 and 5 1 is 1. And now we have to start with the position 2, 5 2. So int I is equal to 2 for the next index number, and I less than or equal to 30 because we need 30 terms, and I plus plus. So we have declared the loop, and now start finding the number and storing it. And C is equal to A plus B. First we can see what is C. Here A and B, the last here numbers we are here, A and B. C is equal to add the number, last two number. That means 0 plus 1, it is 1. And now we are storing this number in 5. So storing we can see later. First we can find how to find the Fibonacci number. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So we got the number, third number we got here. This one is here. And now the last two numbers are 1 and 1. So how we will find? Here we are saying A is equal to B. That means the value of B will come in A. A is equal to B and B is equal to C. Here, no need of A here. The first A, it is not the last number. So we can remove the number. We need the last two number. So A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So we got the last two number 1 and 1, and then C is equal to A plus B. So we got 1 plus 1 is 2, the next number. And now we don't need this one. We need only these two number 1 and 2. 1 is stored in B and 2 is stored in B. So once again we are saying A is equal to B and B is equal to C here. So 1 will come in A and 2 will come in B. A is equal to B and B is equal to C. And then add this one 3. We got the third number here. The next number 3. So now the last two numbers are 2 and 3. No need of this one. One can be removed, which is stored in A. So to remove this, what we will say, A is equal to B. That means B's number 2 will come in A and B is equal to C. 3 will come here. See what we got, the last two number 2 plus 3, 5. Next number we got, and now we need 3 and 5, not 2. 2 we want to remove. So once again say A is equal to B. That means 3 will come in A and B is equal to C. 5 will come here. So 3 plus 5, 8. So like this we will find the Fibonacci number, and the number will be coming in C. And now how to store in the array? 5 0 we have stored 1 and 5 1 is equal to 1. And starting from here 5 I is equal to C. So next 5 is starting, the array is starting from 2. So next number will be 5 2, and 5 2 is equal to C. The value we got in C will be stored here. And I plus plus, that means I will become 3. 5 3 is equal to 2, the next value of C. 5 4 is equal to 3, the next value of C. 5 5 is equal to 5, the next value of C, and 5 6 equal to 8. So like this, whatever value we are getting in C will be stored in the array 5. So in this way we can store the first 30 numbers in the array in 5 array, and then we can do the printing. Here int I is equal to 0, I less than 30, I plus plus, and system out println 5 of array I. The numbers will be printed. Now, write a program to input 10 numbers in two different arrays and tell whether the arrays are identical or not. Two arrays are said to be identical if the same number is there in same position. So we can see whether two arrays are identical or not. Start the program, write the comments, and write class till scanner class, and then declare two arrays. int a square is equal to new int 10, the first array, and int b square is equal to new int 10, the second array. So here we have declared two arrays and input the numbers in both of them. So here we can give the proper message, and first input the elements in array A, and then second input the elements in array B. So int I is equal to 0, I left then I plus plus. First input elements in array A of I and then B of I. After inputting the elements, now we can see if the elements are same in position also. So here for checking, we have declared a variable int f is equal to 0. If we want, we can also write boolean f is equal to true or false. So this is the flag variable which we will check. If the array, both the arrays are identical, f will remain 0, and if it is not identical, f will change to 1. So here we can see int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. If a of I is not equal to b of I, here we can take two examples. In this case, first one, a0 is 5 and b0 is 5. a1 is 10, b1 is 10, a2 is 3 and b2 is 3. So we can consider this as till same till a9 and b9. If it is same, f will remain 0. And now take the example of second one. In this case, a0 is 5 and b0 is 5. First element is same, but second element a1 is 10 and here it is 15. So as soon as the elements are different, if a1 is not equal to b of I, if the elements are different, f will become 1. And then we can stop it. No need of further checking because it is not identical. We can stop it here. So if the elements are same, f will remain 0. If elements are not same, f will become 1. And now if f is equal to 0, print out it is identical array, otherwise not identical array. So this way we can find whether two arrays are identical to each other or not. The next program we are going to discuss is the class teacher wants to store the marks obtained in English, Maths and Computer of her class having 40 students. Write a program to input marks in English, Maths and Computer by using three single-dimensional arrays. Calculate and print the following information: average marks secured by each student and name of the student who got highest mark along with the average. Start the program, complete the first 4 lines, and now declare the arrays needed. Here we have to declare arrays to store the names of 40 children, their marks in 3 subjects. So here we are declaring the array string name is equal to new string 40. This array will store the names of the children, and int English is equal to new int 40, int Maths and int Computer. These 3 arrays, that means English, Maths and Computer arrays, will store the marks in the particular subject for 40 students. And double average, their average will be stored in the array average. Double average is equal to new double 40. So 40 students average will be stored here. And double AVG for storing the average of the student who got the highest mark, and string X for storing the name of the particular student. Here we are declaring one more variable int total for finding the total marks of each student and then storing in the average array. And AVG we initialize as 0 so that we can compare the average marks of each student. And now system out println input the name and marks of 3 subjects. Here we are giving the proper message. We are giving the message in the beginning. That means this message will be printed only one time. If we are giving the message inside the loop, 40 times the message will be printed. So here start the loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than 40, I plus plus. name of I, that means name 0, name 1, name 2, like that up to name 39 is equal to sc dot next line, accept the name. English of I is equal to sc dot next ind, maths of I is equal to sc dot next ind, and computer of I is equal to sc dot next ind. Accept the marks of 3 subjects for each student, and now find the total of that particular student. Total is equal to English of I plus maths of I plus computer of I, and then average of I is equal to, that means average 0, average 1, total by 3. We got the total mark. And after that, do the checking. If AVG is less than average of I, if the average AVG mark is less, that means we want the marks on the name of the student who got the highest mark and his average. So if AVG is less, then AVG is equal to average of I. That marks will go there, and in X the particular student's name will go. X is equal to name of I. So check the condition. If it is less, the particular student's average marks and name will go to AVG and X. And now for the printing purpose, system.println name /t means space will come in between. English /t again space, maths /t space, computer /t escape sequence, it is that space will come and average marks. So here heading is printed, and then start the loop. I is equal to 0, I less than 40, I plus plus, and system.println name of I plus /t in double quotes. It should be in double quotes. Here we are printing the marks, not the variable. Here we are printing the variable, that particular word. So common bracket we have put here. And in this case, name of I plus /t plus English of I plus /t up to average of I. So all the 40 students names and marks we have printed. Close the loop and then print name of the student who got the highest mark is X and his average mark is AVG. We can see how the printing is done. Here the beginning we have printed the heading name, English, maths, computer and average. And the first student name and his or her marks, English, maths, computer and the average marks. Then second name, third name, fourth name, fifth name, like this student's name will be printed and their marks for the subjects and the average marks will be printed. So this is the first step which we have done, and now we have to find the name of the student who got highest mark. How we will do? So here we can see the beginning AVG was 0. So if AVG is less than average, here we are comparing, then AVG is equal to average and X is equal to name. So in the beginning it was less. So in average 33.33 has gone, and in name Priya, that means first child's name has gone. And then second child got 40. So when we are comparing, AVG is again less. That means 40 will go here and the particular student's name will go to X. And then third student 98.3. Again AVG is less. That means the particular student's mark will go to AVG and name will go to Anirudh. And the next two students, it is not, AVG is not less than the marks of next two students. So no change will take place. So like this, all the 40 students marks will be compared and the highest mark will go to AVG and then particular name will go to X. After that, we can print the name of the student who got the highest mark and the particular name. The next question, this was after the board exam. The annual examination result of 50 students in a class is tabulated in a single dimension array as follows. Here roll number, subject A, subject B and subject C we have to get, and then write a program to read the data. That means we can input the data, calculate and display the following. Average marks obtained by each student. Print the roll number and average marks of the student whose average is above 80, and print the roll number and average marks of the student whose average is below 40. So almost the same type of question which we have done. Accept the name and marks of 3 subjects, find the average marks, print it, and then print the roll number and marks of the students who got above 80 and less than 40. So we can see how to do the program. Start the program and class result, write the first 4 lines till scan a class and declare the variable for inputting the roll number and marks of 3 subjects and for storing their average marks. So IND roll number is equal to new IND 50, which will store the roll number. IND mark 1, IND mark 2, IND mark 3 for storing the marks of 3 subjects and 50 students. And now double AVG, this will find the average marks and store in it. double AVG is equal to new double 50. So we have declared the variable or array for storing the average marks of all students. In this case, we are giving the message inside the loop. So here we can start for int I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. First time I is 0 and I 49. It will go till I 49. And here system out println and enter student I plus 1. That means it will show I was 0 in the beginning. So 0 plus 1. That means enter student 1's detail. Then enter students 2 details. Enter students 3 details. Like this it will come. Accept the roll number. System out println roll number. Roll number of I is equal to sc dot next int. And subject A. It was given subject A in the question. So subject A marks. So marks of I. Subject B marks. Marks 1 of I and subject C mark 3 of I. So like this we got the marks of all students. So either we can use the variable total for finding total and then average. Otherwise we can straightly find AVG of I is equal to put the bracket mark of I plus mark 1 of I plus mark 3 of I, close the bracket, divide by 3.0. It is decimal. So if you give 3, the proper answer will not come. It should be 3.0 because the data type is double. So we got the particular average in AVG of I. So as we got the roll number and marks of all students, as the question asked, we can do the printing. In the first part, print the roll number and average marks of all students. So write the heading system out println roll number / t average marks. So here we are printing the average mark. I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. Roll number of I, that means 0, 1, 2, 3 plus /t plus average of I. So here roll number and average marks of all students one by one will be printed. And now the second heading, system out println average marks who got above 80. So here once again start the loop from 0 to 50 and check the condition. If AVG of I is greater than 80. If it is greater than 80, then only print the roll number and average of I. And now who got below 40, write the heading and int I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. And if AVG of I is less than 40, if the condition is less than 40, then print the roll number and average marks. Roll number of I and average of I. If it is not less, it will not be printed. So like this we can complete the program. Now in the last question we can see how to pass an array as an argument. That means how to pass an array through the function. So this is the question which we are going to discuss. Write a program to input 25 numbers in an array and pass the array to a function called sum and find the sum of all numbers. That means in the main program accept 25 numbers in an array and then pass that particular array to a function. Function will find the sum of all numbers and then it will print it. We are not returning the value, so there is no need of return type. So now we can see how to write the program. Import java.util.scanner. We are using scanner class. Declare the class name class array. And as we have already done the topic function, you know, when we are having a function and a main program, first we will write the function, complete it, define and complete it, close it, and then we will start the main program. So first we can define the function. And what is the function doing? Function is accepting an array from the main program. So, and no return type. That means we can write void sum. Sum is the name of the function and no return type means void, and it is accepting an array. So int data type we have to write and name of the array. A square brackets will indicate it is an array. So this is the prototype for accepting an array. Void sum int a square bracket. So after accepting the elements, now we have to find the sum of all elements. For that, int y is equal to a dot length. Find the length of the array. That means how many elements are present in the array. And for sum, we have declared int s is equal to 0. And start the loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than y. That means 25 means till 25. I plus plus. S is equal to s plus a of I. That means 0 plus first number A0, then second number A1, A2 up to A24. One by one the numbers will be accessed and found the sum. Now close the for loop. We have got the sum in the variable s. After that, now print the sum. System out println sum of the array is plus s. So in this way we can print the sum of the array in the function. And suppose if we want to return the value, then here we will write return s. Return s, and if you are returning the data type of s is int, so in place of void sum you will be writing int sum. So I hope all of you understood how to bring the array to the function and how we can access the array elements. Now close the function, we can start the main program. Public static void main, here main program is started. Scan receive, we are declaring the scanner class, and now we have to access the we have to call the function. So for calling the function we need an object of the class. The function is not a static one. So if it is static one, there is no need of object, but function is not static, so create an object. Array, class name is array, so array AR is the object, AR is equal to new array. We have created the object AR. And now declare the array. Elements are accepted in the main program, not in the function. So declare the array int a square is equal to new int 25. 25 elements can be stored in the array A. Give the message, and for int I here enter the elements of the array, start the for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than 25, I plus plus. So 0 to 24 and a of I, a0, a1, a2. A of I is equal to ac dot next int. So 25 elements will be stored in array A. Now call the function ar.sum. Function name is sum. So we are calling the function sum with the object. AR is the object, ar.sum A. And when we are sending the array to the function, there is no need of square brackets for data type. Just write the name of the function. Function name is A. So all the elements in the function will go to the array sum. So this is the way how we can send a array to the function, and function will accept with the help of square brackets. I hope you understood the concept. So with this we are ending this video. I hope you have understood the programs, understood the concept. We have done very simple programs and some questions which are little complicated. In the ICSE exam, all type of questions can come, simple questions, twisted questions, sometimes hard question. So we have to understand the concept of the array, how to accept the elements, how to access it, how to use it, all the details we have to understand. And if you like the video, if you understand the concept, please click the like button and subscribe the video, those who haven't subscribed till now. In the next coming videos, we will be doing searching and sorting. So see you all in the next video. Thank you.